Today we're going to season some cast iron. Very interesting. I don't know if you've seen it done, but you need to actually season any of your cast iron cookware, and I received 2 items from Amazon. I ordered it last week. Got it come this week. It's a cast iron pot, a 2-quart pot, and a very small skillet. I want something that's not bulky to carry with me when I'm out fishing and also when I'm on snowmobile. I like to have a little fire, a little cook up, and we'll definitely be doing lots of videos on that. We're also going to have a little cook up today inside the garage. This is a kohlrabi. Kohlrabi is a cross between a turnip and a cabbage. I've had it in the raw form and it's absolutely delicious. We're going to have some red potato. We're going to slice both of it up and we're going to fry it out in an iron frying pan. So we're also going to have some steak fried up as well. So we're going to take you through that entire process. I'm going to head over to the garage. Before I forget, another big thing we're going to do today, we're going to show you the steps how to remove rust from a cast iron kettle. This is my parents' kettle. They left water inside of it over a period of time. We won't get into whose fault that is, although I guess you can pretty much guess who if you've been watching any of my videos. But anyway, this is the kettle. I'll show you the inside in a moment. And there is some rust in there. They tried scraping it with some salt. They tried vinegar. So now we're going to try the electrolysis. Kind of sounds like I'm going to be removing air from my face, but we're not going that far with it. So we're going to put it into a baking soda bath, and we're going to add some electrodes to it, I guess. And we're going to show you all the steps, and we'll leave it there for 24 hours. Then at the end of the video, you can actually see the finished process. You see that rust up there? So it's pretty good. It's not a lot. A little bit down there. See the rust? So I think electrolysis will loosen that. And that's all it does, is loosen it. We still have to do some manual work with it. But as long as we can get it loosened, clean it up, re-season the kettle. Believe it or not, you have to season the kettle as well, even though you're just boiling plain water. So we're going to get into that. We're going to show you each step. Very simple. Very easy. Anybody can do it. Do not have fear of cast iron, because we're going to show you everything you need to know about removing rust from your cast iron. So this plus the container is all we need to be able to do the electrolysis for removing rust from cast iron. Very simple steps, actually. We need some baking soda. We need some steel, and we have to put this down in the container, and it can't be touching the cast iron, and it has to be above the water. And then we need something to go across the top to suspend the cast iron in the water. Can't be touching the sides or the bottom. And then our battery charger. So we'll get right into it. Coffee. First thing we're going to do, we're going to add our steel to the bucket. Can't be touching the cast iron. Now I filled the kettle up because the bucket would overflow if I didn't add the water first to the kettle. I'm just going to drop it down. There we go. Just make sure this is not touching. Feels good. It looks good. It's submerged. So we're going to add the cables. We don't want it touching the water. So the power goes to your steel that you added to the water. And then your negative. So the charger is on. Not sure if it's creating any current or not. We'll see in a little bit. Should be bubbles coming from the water in a little while. So I went and got a piece of steel, put it down in the spout so it's touching the cast iron, and connected to the end of the steel. The ends are showing. So let's see if this actually works. We got the fire going strong in our beautiful wood stove, and now we're going to start some steak and some rib. We're going to fry it in our cast iron skillet over the wood stove, and this is going to be an incredible meal. The cast iron, once the heat gets into cast iron, it's more consistent and that heat stays in there longer. If you're using just stainless steel frying pans, it loses a lot of heat. But the cast iron, it gets in there and it stays a lot longer. You don't have that drop in temperature, and we're really going to sear this up really nicely. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. We're going to start some seasoning of our new cast iron, and we're going to season this with some store-bought seasoning. Now you can use any type of oil that's high heat. You want high heat like coconut oil. There's lots of seed oils that's very high in heat as well, because you don't want it smoking at lower temperatures. So all you need to do is use this oil, or even lard. You can use lard, and lard is good because it's white and you can see that you have everything covered as you're wiping it down. And all you need to do is wipe the inside with the oil, wipe the outside, turn it upside down on a pan, and we're going to put it in the oven, and we're going to bake it on 400 for about 1 hour. Now this is a process that you need to repeat 3 or 4 times. It's a very simple process. All you have to do is just coat the cast iron. But you want it upside down for the reason to allow that excess oil to run off. Now picture the oil the same as paint. When you have runs in your paint, you know that little strip run, and then at the end that little bubble? You don't want that with your oil. So you want it to be able to run off, because what's going to happen is the same thing with paint, is if you get that run, it will dry and that bubble at the end will chip off, and then that will expose your cast iron, and then you may have some slight rust. And then when you take it out of the oven, you want to wipe it down to get off that excess oil, and then you want to repeat the process, and you'll do this 3 or 4 times. Look at Mother making another cameo. I'll probably be threatened for having her included in the video. She really don't like me showing her, but that's okay. If you want to see more of Mother, just put it in the comments and we'll get her in more videos. So now we have some beautiful red potatoes that I grew myself, but I only put in 2 beds this year, more or less experimenting with it to see can I actually get some vegetables to grow, and we did a fantastic job. We got about 2 sacks of potatoes. So we're going to slice these up fairly thin. I'm going to show Mother, just make sure, you know, it's to her standards, and I did to get the approval that it's the right thickness. So we're going to fry this up, and she's telling me, put it in the pot, keep going. My uncle gave us some fresh onions right from the farm, and we're going to fry this up with the meat. We're going to chop it up very thin, and we're going to have some beautiful fresh onion with our wonderful meat all in the cast iron skillet. Look how beautiful this looks. You get all those flavors. The heat is amazing for cooking. You're getting consistent heat right through that pan, and the heat stays in a lot longer to give you more flavor. Now this is a Kobe. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, please put it in the comments. This is a cross between a turnip and a cabbage. Now this is very tender compared to turnip. Turnip is very dense, very hard, and this is much more tender. It doesn't take very long when you boil it. It's not the same as turnip or carrot. It takes a lot longer to boil those vegetables. This one is very easy, very simple to cook, and it is delicious. It's delicious raw. I actually prefer this in a coleslaw or a salad, and it is delicious. It has a very mild turnip taste, so if you're not crazy about turnip, don't worry. It's a very, very mild turnip taste, but it is beautiful. Look how easy the knife slices through it. It's definitely not as dense and hard as a turnip. Now we're turning over our meat. Look how beautiful this is. This looks magnificent. Look at the color. We're going to have a good feed tonight. Look at the colors. Look at the garlic. This is definitely going to be an incredible meal. Now it's time for the feast. We're picking up our meat, our onion, and can't forget the veggies. Look how beautiful. Look how beautiful those red potatoes fried up with some onion. The Kobe is ready to go into the pan. And look, we're going to have a feed. Looks beautiful. Look at the texture. Look at the colors. Can't go wrong with cast iron. A meal fit for royalty. I definitely like the Kobe fried, but I prefer it raw in salads and coleslaws. And the potato can't go wrong. Fried potato cannot go wrong. It is incredible, very delicious, and the meats turned out absolutely perfect. Cast iron, you gotta love it. So it's been 24 hours and the electrolysis is actually working. The bubbles are on the outside and it looks like the rust inside actually is settled to the bottom. It came off the inside of the kettle and just settled to the bottom. So we're going to be taking out of the solution. We'll be wiping it down, drying it, and then we're going to be using the Dremel with a steel brush, and we're going to actually try to remove as much of that rust as we can. It should be a pretty easy process. That's rust. Look, that's rust. Let's get in a little closer. See the rust? Let's take it over. I'm going to take the kettle inside and I'm going to give it a good scrub, and then I'm going to apply the same type of seasoning as I did for the pot and the skillet. And this is a store-bought, it's basically oil. So I'm going to do that inside. I'm going to use the oven inside because I don't have time to do it out in the garage right now. And I'm going to season it. I'm going to put it in the oven for about an hour on 400 degrees once the oil is based on. But like I said, I'm going to get a good scrub first. We got all the rust off, so I just want to get everything out of that pot. Even the old seasoning is taken off. So don't worry about removing the seasoning, because every so often you need to do that. Remove the seasoning and also just bake it again with some good oil, heat oil. So we're going to do that inside, and then we're going to show you the finished product. And hopefully it's all going to turn out great. But that kettle, I was several hours, probably 3 hours, scrubbing the inside of that kettle with different power tools. And it's just, it's very hard to get in there. It's a lot of work, but it still can be done. You can pick up a old rusty kettle for cheap and you can do the work. Trust me, it's worth it. Once you get the rust out, it's well worth it. So as you can see, the kettle turned out magnificent. Look at that. It's like new. It's all the rust taken off, and now we can actually use the kettle for water. But be very careful, make sure you drain the water, wipe it out, and put it like a paper towel between the cover and the kettle, and even a paper towel inside just to absorb some of the moisture. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see us exploring the backcountry, check out this video. We also had a nice cook up on the beach, and we also seen some wildlife, and we'll see you in our next video.